In today's video, we're doing something a little bit different. I wanted to sit down and discuss a franchise that I adore, and how slowly but surely this one franchise created 3 separate fan bases with 3 different games. Disclaimer, this video will be a generalization of each fan base and may or may not represent your opinions on a topic. So, let's talk about what led to this division in the first place. The old school fan base. These fans loved the gritty and grounded story that Saints Row 1 and 2 had. Those games were considered the golden age of the franchise, and many in the community, with some accepting the third installment to be an utter flop in terms of story. But the story ended in Saints Row 2. You fought out of a coma and reclaimed the city that was once yours, defeating all 3 gangs and owning the company that ran the whole city. So where do you go from there? The Saints Row the Third fan base. Saints Row III started off on a hot streak, being announced on March 2011, just 3 years after Saints Row 2 and 2 years before GTA 5. The game was almost unrecognizable to older fans, who were used to the story-driven experience and thrilling action of Saints Row 1 and 2. But was it really that different? Saints Row III was a mainstream success, introducing a new generation of players to the world of Saints Row. But was it really the world of Saints Row? The third installment was literally a new world because we were introduced to a new map, new characters, new guns, new cars, basically given a soft reboot in order to continue the story, which was exactly what they did to transition from Saints Row 1 to 2, except the 2 games were taking place in the same city, just with 5-year time skip. So what does this have to do with the old fan base? This is where, in my opinion, things started to stumble a little bit. Not fall, but a stumble for the community. The game started off with killing the beloved character in the series, which is okay, but people felt like their death only affected one person throughout the entire story, which did not sit well with older fans. Yes, the boss used the death as an act of revenge, but once you got it, the other gangs just felt like filler. The story didn't match the same seriousness as before. There was no stakes, there was no sense of danger with the exception of the final mission. That doesn't mean the older fans hated this game, it still had other redeeming qualities to keep most fans through the finish line. The gameplay and the customization carried this game from something more than just a GTA clone at the time. Agents of Mayhem, Saints Row 4, Get Out of Hell. I'm grouping these 3 games into one segment because we really don't talk about these games much. Agents of Mayhem isn't a Saints Row game, but it was marketed heavily as a Saints Row game, and even having a character from the franchise in the game. Nobody asked for this game, and few that did gave it a chance and said the gameplay wasn't bad, but everything else was mediocre at best. Saints Row 4 was actually supposed to be a Saints Row 3 DLC, but they were spending so much money for it, Deep Silver wanted it to be a full release. So I personally would give it a pass, but the community, nah, they thought the game was meh, the powers were cool, but it was still fun, and it wasn't enough to keep the most of the old school fan base to support it. Those guys were gone as soon as they saw the cover book for the game. Get Out of Hell was just Saints Row 4 in Hell, the reboot. Then there was the reboot. Oh boy, this is the final branch of the story. Saints Row the reboot was announced on August 2022, and it sent everyone on a frenzy. The old school guys are screaming because they saw a futuristic gun. The Saints Row 3 guys are running around panicking because they got rid of customization. And there was the people who liked the trailer. Oh boy. Safe to say it didn't give off the best first impression. The guys who liked the trailer are a mix of both fan bases actually, with new people who are thirsty for a new open world game since Rockstar left the milk to dry until someone's dad finds it. Many believe they have the perfect formula to make a Saints Row game, but the formula has been changed already. 4 times to be exact, and this is where the problem is. It seems like the trailer was meant to please everybody, but it just looked like the characters were children and it didn't feel right to call them saints, and that's not the first impression you want to give on a criminal enterprise type of game. But then the customization trailer came out and people were starting to pay attention, at least the Saints Row 3 fan base was. It had everything they wanted, but they have to impress one last group. Now, do I think the old school fan base will pick up the game on day one? No. At least most won't. But do I believe that Volition has what it takes to bring them in? Yes. Yes, I do. And it's only a matter of time before we find out if the old school fan base was right about leaving the game in the back seat. As always, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you liked, leave a dislike if you didn't, and also let me know in the comments what fan base are you in and if you're excited to see a Saints Row reboot.